Listen up. The federal government just dropped Budget 2025. Big promises, big dollars, big risks. And you, yes, you, anywhere in Canada, are in the damn crosshairs. Deficit skyrockets, investment blitz, defense surge, taxes? Maybe. Jobs? Maybe. So, what's really happening? Let's dive in. Here is the blunt truth. When Ottawa borrows tons of billions, says we are going to invest, and flips the game plan. Your job, your provinces, your cost of living, your future, all shift. Alberta's oil patch, your housing costs, your federal services, yeah, they're all part of it. And trust me, when big promises meet reality, someone gets burned. Might as well be you. Deficits explodes. So what's the first punch? The deficit. Canada's budget shortfall for 2025-26 is projected at $78.3 billion, more than double last year. That ain't baby changes. That's we will pay for this later territory. And by later, I mean you paying. Either via higher taxes or fewer services, or maybe both. And here's the kicker. The government says it's doing this because of the protectionist US trade war under Donald Trump. And because Canada needs to defend itself. Yes, I said trade war and defend in the same sentence. Alberta angle. A weaker Canadian economy is equal to less demand for oil and gas, less investment. The huge deficit is signaling risk. Investment push. But wait, they're not just borrowing, they are investing big time. The budget proposes $280 billion in targeted investments over 5 years. Infrastructure, productivity, defense, housing. Here is how that breaks down. $115 billion for infrastructure, $110 billion for productivity and competitiveness. $30 billion for defense and security, $25 billion for housing. This is the "we are going to build Canada strong" line. But promise is equal to delivery. For Alberta, that could mean big contracts for roads, energy clusters, pipelines, housing. But only if Ottawa actually pulls the trigger. Defense surge and diversification. Now we dive into the geopolitics. Canada is saying we are done being secondary. Under Prime Minister Mark Carney, we are ramping defense and trying to step out from the shady shadow of the US arsenal. Canada will hit NATO 2% of GDP target early and beef up its industrial base. They plan to spend an extra $81.8 billion over 5 years on military tech, infrastructure, and recruitment. Translation? For businesses dealing in minerals, metals, manufacturing, you may be in the mix. But Canada always talks big about Buy Canadian. The question? Will the contracts go to you or to the usual big players? That's where the frustration starts. Quick stop. Hit subscribe if you want more of these straight talks. And grab a membership if you want to help me stay independent. Thank you. Now back to our topic. Tax relief. But, and here is the but. Okay, good news slide. Tax cut. The lowest federal personal income tax rate drops from 15% to 14% effective July 1st, 2025. That means more cash in some folks' pockets. Nice, right? But here is the damn thing. It's only the lowest bracket. If you make more, you don't feel it that much. Also, with the roaring deficit, guess who might pay later? Plus, this tax cut does not touch provincial tax. So provinces still has their own tax games going. And the risk? Ottawa may come back later and say we cut too much when debt service or interest rates bite. Stay sharp. Cuts and savings. Okay, hold your applause. For every dollar of investment, there is an efficiency line. Ottawa is targeting $60 billion in savings over 5 years. That includes a 10% cut to the federal civil service by 2028-29, improved tax collection, foreign aid cuts. So there is the fiscal discipline story. We will invest big, but we will also cut the fat. For you, that might mean slower service at federal offices, fewer program supports, less wiggle room for bureaucracy. If you are a federal employee or rely on federal programs, that's a personal risk. Immigration and labor changes. Here is a big one for the workforce and marketplace. Starting 2026, the number of permanent residents admitted will drop from 395,000 to 380,000. And the number of temporary residents drops even more. The focus shifts to economic migrants rather than broad intake. What does that mean? For example, if you need labor, construction, energy, services, fewer newcomers could raise costs, slow projects, but for some workers might reduce competition. Still, fewer workers is equal to pressure. You know it. And this connects to housing demand, services, infrastructure. Less immigration might ease housing demand, nice, but it might also slow overall economic growth. It's a trade-off. Energy and resource strategy shift. This part hits closest to home. Ottawa is pivoting tax incentives for low-emission LNG projects, a $2 billion critical minerals sovereign fund for strategic industrial investment. Plus, the government says it might scrape the emissions cap for oil and gas in favor of industrial carbon pricing. This could be a chance. More investment, new value chains, minerals, but the flip side? If regulatory clarity is missing or global demand drops, you might still lose. The pendulum swings fast. Budget timing and framework shakeup. Another subtle but important move. Canada's budget cycle changes. The main federal budget is now in autumn, not spring. Capital versus operating spending separated. Why care? Because the timing of infrastructure projects matters. Weather, contracts, labor shortages, all factor. For Western Canada, this may mean aligning budgets with construction seasons. But also, transparency takes a hit when things shift. You must keep your eyes open. The government says future budgets will emphasize austerity plus investment. Good luck balancing both. Trade and U.S. pressure, the dark undercurrent. We have talked economics, taxes, defense, but at the heart of all this is the U.S. trade war. Canada is under pressure from American tariffs. Thanks, Trump. Ottawa is saying we are diversifying. We are breaking reliance. But diversification takes time and money. Without that diversification, oil and gas, manufacturing, our export chains get squeezed. The budget is essentially Canada saying, we will fight back. But as of now, this is pledged. Execution? TBD. Be honest. That means uncertainty. If the US hits hard again, Canada might have to borrow more. And someone pays. Might be you. The grand reveal and your role. Okay, here is the reveal. This budget is bold. And I mean bold. It's Canada taking the gloves off, investing big, cutting labor, defying the US. It could be a game changer for those ready to pivot, invest, build. But it's also risky as hell. Huge deficit, massive promises. If execution fails, higher taxes, weaker services, slower growth. And we are stuck in transition limbo. Your role? Don't be a passive spectator. Keep an eye on whether infrastructure dollars hit your province. Homes built, roads fixed, major projects launched. Watch defense procurement. Are local firms in the mix or passed over? monitor your own tax situation and service access. If cashbacks are promised, make sure you get them. Watch labor and immigration in your industry. Shifts may change your competition or opportunity. And most importantly, ask who is paying if this goes sideways. So, yeah, Budget 2025 is no small thing. It's Canada saying we are going for it, but also we might blow it. And when they blow it, you pay. I pay. If you found this video helpful, hit like, smash subscribe, and in the comments, tell me which line item hits you hardest. Infrastructure? Tax cuts? Defense? Energy? I want to hear. Until next time, stay sharp, stay Canada first, keep asking the hard questions because this is your country and your future on the line. Let's not let Ottawa roll the dice behind closed doors. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.